10. I can't believe we have been doing this for 10 weeks. It's just, wow. So, last bit. Our last bit is this last insert. And then once we've done this, which is going to take not long at all, I want to just go back and have a look at the papers that we've got left and where we might like to put that, and then talk about some of the bits and pieces that I've done in there. So this insert is very, very simple. All it is 2 pieces of card with an acetate front, and then this cut apart closure, which we've made before. We made on insert 1 for instance. Yeah, YouTube, not sure, Deb. I don't like their terms and conditions. Basically, I don't own anything, and they can do what they like with it. So, don't know. I haven't made my mind up. Weird. Anyway, yeah, I just don't know. But we'll find a way. We'll find a way. Because I ain't stopping doing this. So we've got an acetate front, but this is card here underneath here, and then we've got a card background. There's a cut apart, a couple of cut aparts, and a couple of photo mats. So it's really a very quick and easy insert to put together. So let's get started. So I haven't printed myself out a cutting guide, so if I say it wrong, Mark, just tell me, okay? Yeah. So we've only got 2 cuts to do, really. So we are going to cut our back piece at, I think it's 9.5 by 7.5 inches. Is that right?
Yeah, no.
So we're cutting one at 9.5 by 7.5 inches. Okay. And then we are cutting one at 9.5 by 2.5 inches. Is that right? That was a good remembering thing of mine, wasn't it? Okay. Then you need a sheet of acetate. Okay, and you're not going to be able to see this very well, but I have some acetate here. And we're going to cut the acetate at 9.5 by 7.5 inches. Right. Okay. Right. Scoreboard. I don't know what it's like in your part of the world, but if I said it was hot here, I would be lying. Because I've never known heat like it, quite frankly. It is horrendous.
It's about 90 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, 90, which is far too hot for me. I can't deal with it at all. Right, we've only got one score to make. Look at this. Cat cut my hand. We're just giving him his tablets. Just giving Max his tablets. He didn't like it. So that's sore. So I'm feeling very sorry for myself. I'm too hot and the cat has scratched me. Anyway, right. We're going to score on the 2.5 inch side of that one that was 2.5 by 9.5 inches. And we're scoring at 1/2 inch. And that is it. I told you this wasn't a difficult one. Oh, I haven't cut out the top bit. That doesn't matter. I'll do that. Okay, right. So let us fold that on the score line there. And bone folder. I had it about 5 minutes ago. Here it is. Let's just burnish on that there.
Linda says hello. So you are hot and wounded.
I am. It's been a bad day. Hot and cat scratch day, but never mind. Yeah. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab this other piece. Oh, that picture's gone again. We're going to pop. I reckon that if you come back and watch this tomorrow, it's going to look just fine, judging by what happened the other day. Yeah. That was good. So what we're going to do is we're just going to attach that in there like that. So we're going to have a piece like that. Okay. So let me put some glue. Oh, let's see. I did look, because I knew it would clog up today, and it's still clogged up. Some glue on that flap. And I'm going to attach this piece up to where that score line is. Like that. Make sure it lines up. And there we go. Glue's trying already. It's not even straight, that. Oh, well, never mind. It's near enough. Right, now we need to attach this piece of acetate. Now, I'm not a lover of tape, as you know. However, this is one of the instances where a good double-sided tape has to do, because I still haven't found a really brilliant glue for acetate. So I'm going to use some of this polyester tape of mine, which I think isn't too bad at all. So I'm going to put a couple of lines of this polyester tape. It's ultra clear, ultra sticky. We do have it in the shop because it's the only one that I've found that goes anywhere like. It's kind of like red tape, but I think it's a bit better. So I'm just going to put about 3 lines of that on there, on the inside of that flap. I'll tell you what else is nice about this tape as well. When you take the backing off, it stays flat and it doesn't go everywhere.
Isn't it staticky?
Nope, not staticky. So now I'm just going to pop on that piece of acetate, make sure it lines up with that backing piece there. And I'm going to fold that over like that. Okay. My piece of acetate is covered in cat hairs. Yours doesn't have to be. It is optional, yes.
I think dog hairs are...
Yeah, dog hairs come a close second. They will do. Right, so what I need to do now is make my closure, and then I'm going to decorate up because there needs to be a little bit of fussy cutting on here. Now, for my closure, what I did was I chose a couple of the cutter parts that I really liked. So let me see what I have got left. I'm going to take this out because I'm going to need it. So that's the big book bit there. That I'm going to turn into photo mats at some point.
I just remembered that thing about hairs yesterday.
The what?
The hairs.
The hairs?
The sink.
Oh.
Yeah. Talking of hairs.
Right, let's see what we've got in the way of cutter parts left.
Oh, Glencoe's got rain.
I wish we had. Apparently it's going to thunder at some point.
Yes, they have forecast thunderstorms.
I wish they'd hurry up. Right. Okay. I'm going to use the same ones because I chose them from my original for a reason. So I must have liked them. So let's have that one. And any of these, I guess. That one was on the front. And those are in the little pockets. So let's go for that bottom one. me just trim this down. Straight probably would help. Okay, let me just measure that. Three and 3/4 by 2 5/8. I think that's quite a bit smaller. It is. Oh, well, never mind. You can cut yours a bit longer. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this one onto a piece of spare card that I've got. Like that. But I'm going to make sure that when I put it on my black card, I'm putting it so that I've got a lot of space at the top here, okay? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at where the top of this is, and I'm going to cut at 3/4 of an inch from that bit. So if I look to see where 3/4 of an inch is, it's only roughly, it doesn't have to be exact. I just need to have a big enough flap on the top so it looks a little bit like that, okay? Because what I'm going to do is take my scoreboard and my scoring tool, which I had because I didn't want to lose it. So I've lost it. There it is. And I'm going to make a score just a little bit away. Can you see? Just a little bit away from the top of that there. So I've got a little bit of a gap, the same sort of gap as I have around it. Right. Like that. And I'm going to make a score line at 1/8 of an inch. So I've got 2 parallel score marks with a bit of a gap in between. So I'm going to fold on those score lines so that I get my flap with a bit of a gusset. Okay, so it looks like that. All right. And then this bit of glue on the back. And I'm going to add this into the middle of the top up here, up to that first score line. Make sure it's the middle. That looks about right. So I've got that as my closure. Right, so now I'm going to decorate up. So what paper have I got left? Got this piece, which goes in here. Then I need to fussy cut that bit. And then inside, I've just taken a strip of what I've got left just to cover in there. Okay. So this is a whole piece. It's just under 7.5 by 9.5. That piece we could put on the other side. In fact, I might as well, seeing as it's kind of fitting, and I'm just going to cut that at under 2.5. Okay, right. That's not right, is it? That's not 7.5. Okay, so that's going to go in there. See, I think when I cut this originally, glue's just stuck. Where's I think when I did my original one, I cut some more off the front. Oh, this is ridiculous. So look at that. I've obviously cut these bits off as well. So if you're not working in time with me, when you're going to put that, you might want to chop those bits off. Not that it makes a great deal of difference. Right, okay, so now I'm going to fussy cut the books. Right, 9.5 take away 12, take away 9.5 is 2.5. What's half of 2.5? 1.25. So if I just mark where I'm cutting, now Tallulah put in the group just about fussy cutting scissors, and I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to help a great deal, because all I would say in answer to which are best is it very, very, very much depends on the individual. Now, I'm left-handed, but as you can see, I cut out right-handed. Now, I remember buying myself a pair of left-handed scissors once, Fiskars they were, and I absolutely loved them. And as soon as I started using them, it was like I felt, where have you been all my life? It just made perfect sense. And as soon as I figured out that these were the most perfect things since sliced bread, they stopped working. I just couldn't get my head around it. It was the weirdest thing. But basically, I couldn't. I just stopped. My brain stopped computing how to use them. So left-handed scissors are not for me. I love the Tim Holtz scissors. These are my favourite fussy cutting scissors. But I will say that I don't like the serrated edge. I hope your picture's better than the one I can see at the moment. Oh, this is absolutely terrible. What we'll do is after class, even though I won't have edited it, we'll download this one directly from StreamYard, and I'll put it into the OneDrive unedited, so you can watch it properly. So yeah, fussy cutting scissors. Tim Holtz, they're my favourites, but I don't like the serrated edge. Who was it said turn it round? Oh, no, I don't like that. It's confused my brain. It would be really interesting to see how Alison gets on with the haberdashery Tim Holtz scissors, because I know that they're non-serrated. And if they're any good, then I think that's where I'm going to go next. I do have a pair of Fiskars small scissors, which I love, but they're quite clunky for, I don't know where they are. They're quite clunky for fussy cutting scissors, but having said that, they work an absolute treat, but I can't get hold of any at the moment. Then I've got a pair of X-cut scissors, which I love, but they're blunting. They're going quite blunt now, and they don't seem to have lasted all that long. But they were really good. But I think, I don't know, it's such a personal thing, fussy cutting scissors. But my personal favourites are the Tim Holtz. I just wish he did a non-serrated one that you could easily get hold of.
Bee cutter scissors.
Oh, sorry.
Cutter bee. I love the cutter bee.
Oh, I don't know.
Bee cutter scissors. Couple of people have mentioned them.
I haven't heard of those. I'll have to have a look.
Anybody uses embroidery scissors?
Yeah, I've used embroidery scissors in the past. I just think that they blunt really quickly. But like, this is the thing. It's such a personal thing.
He loves the Fiskars and the little white ones you sell.
Yes, they're no. Well, I've been trying to get hold of the Heidi Swap fussy cutting scissors because they look really nice. Right. Let's cut that down to 9.5 exactly. And that is going to sit on there like that, absolutely perfectly. So let me just get some glue. Pop some on there.
Cricket make.
Who do, sorry?
Cricket.
Oh, do they? Are they? Oh, I don't know which way round this goes. Have to say, Belinda, seriously impressed with these, that they do absolutely perfectly match up back to front, which is lovely. Right, okay, so now I've got my books on the front and you can see them through here. So I've got that piece that I cut to go in there, which wasn't that piece. It was that piece. I might. So I'm going to use my tape again because this is going over acetate. Could put that there like that, actually. I might just do that, seeing as it fits. Yeah, There we go. Let's do that. Why not? Serendipitous. Okay, so you get the idea now. All I've done on the front is I've taken some more of these Sir Vagabond statements and I've added them onto black card to make them pop, and then I've cut them up and I've just popped them flat because this is going to fit into our insert. So I've popped it flat onto there. I've got my back on there like that, and then on the back here, these are all paper piece. These are just strips. Now, as far as the book goes, that is now finished. But what I want to do is just take the rest of the time to go over the bits that we haven't done in class that are going to finish it off. So, front of my book. Here, I've got a cut apart, and bear in mind that I've added everything onto black paper, onto black card to make it pop. And I've put that on the front here with some of the cogs, which I've put onto black card, and compasses. I've added these onto a bit of chipboard so that it's raised up so I can slip some of my cogs underneath. And then I've raised up some of my cogs on chipboard as well. Now, some of you might have had one of Mel's charms. And those go that you can just pop that onto this this funny buckle thing here. If you haven't got a charm, you want to make your own, or you just want to add on to it like I have, and you've had a kit, I've used some of these bulb-shaped pins, and I've taken some of there's so many wonderful little bits in this paper line. You know, there's the what do you call this thing? The lock, there's a compass, some of the tags, and all I've done is I've just fussy cut them out, and I've put holes in where necessary, and I've just popped my bulb shaped pin through, and then I've just added that onto that bit there. Okay, so in my pockets here, if I open them up, what you'll see is that there are little photo mats inside these pockets. So I've got tags that I've added onto black card, and I've made tiny little photo mats. This one opens up. These are the size of 3x4 inch photos, okay, just in case you're wondering. And I've got single-sided ones there. And that pops into the briefcase bit at the front. And you've got so many cut aparts and bits and pieces that you can use to do this. This one's the same. Okay. So let's just close that back up, because that's that satisfying click from the magnets, which I love so much. Okay, so that is the outside of our book. Okay, so that's all nicely finished now. So now I'm going to open up our book, and we're going to have a look inside. So these are examples. You obviously don't have to follow what I'm doing. But here, for example, I've taken one of the sort of like the emblem shapes. I've cut around it. I've added some black card to the back of it, and then I've stuck it down to cover up where I put my closure. I've got a couple, because we've used 2 Lady Vagabonds, we've got a double cut aparts. So I've used a couple of the sort of wrought iron hinges there just to decorate it up. Okay, so what we're doing now is we are decorating. So when you I found my Lady Vagabond, by the way, Belinda, she was hiding in Oz. That's all I'm going to say. Naughty girl. Yes, she'd obviously got a lift on the tornado and had disappeared off to Oz.
Regan says, could you show today's closure of the insert again, please?
Yep, I will. As soon as I get down to that bit of the book, I will happily show you that. So with regard to this insert, once again, what I've done is I've added the other bulb pin, and just a couple of the items that I've added onto black card. Open it up. I know we've gone through this again. Let's have a look at the original. And I've added in some photo mats. And some of the cutter parts, they just fit in there. Now, all the paper that you've got left now is fair game, okay? So you've got an awful lot of strips left over. So what I did on the back was I used my strips to cover the backs. So you can go and do that now. You can go off, get all your 4 inserts, work out what strips you've got left, and just add those onto your heart's content. Now, this insert number 1 goes into this first page holder here, and there is a little cutter part there that I've just used to decorate. The reason I didn't put too much decoration on that page was because when we pop our Lady Vagabond into the book, we're putting her this closure bit actually over the front of that you know, the pocket, so that's what we see when we open the book, and I don't think it needs any more. Now, if I look at the next page, what I've done is I've added in another one of these emblems, but because this book doesn't, it folds over the top of that insert, I haven't added anything underneath here. It's just plain, okay? But you will notice that because I'm opening my book towards me now, these items I've put on looking at the book. I haven't put them on the right way up, if that makes sense, because when I look at the book, I want to be able to see that as one long flow. So this I could have put, if it was an ordinary book, I would have put it on the other way around, but I haven't. And like I said, that's because I want to have that flow through, so that when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it all the way down like that. Okay, so on this insert bit here, there's nothing. All there is the papers that we have covered that pocket with. Right, next page. This is where our insert goes that we've just done. So that just slips in there like that. So Ulrika, what I've done here is we've got our cutter part on the back of that closure, which sticks on the back, and we're going to have to do stripy backs. I've used the Dream Big and Absolutely Unique banners, put those on black card, and then inside there what I've got is a couple of the cutter parts, and I've used the Serve Vagabond ones because this particular insert was quite about Serve Vagabond. So a couple of those inserts that I've just cut out, and then a couple of photo mats that I've made, and those just slip inside there like that. Then our acetate cover folds up, and then underneath that one, and that goes in there like that. Now, because that is very much enclosed inside the pocket, I've been able to do more decoration on this pocket here. So what I've done is I've taken some of the Lady Vagabond suitcases. I've fussy cut around those, added them onto black card, added that on with some of the cogs and wheels, etc., that I've put onto some chipboard just to give a bit of height. And then I've put one of the, you know, the book banners down there. And once again, on this side, what I've done is I've added these 2 bits here. But as you can see, they point towards me again. Okay, that's kind of important. Right, the next bit when we open it, there's not much on this, because once again, this folds over. But if you want to, you can still add to it. So what I've done on this page here is I've added the small books there, a couple of the cogs and compass. I've taken one of the cutter parts and I've added this onto a piece of chipboard so that it's hired up. Okay, so that is my 4th insert inside its pocket. Now, with regard to the back page of the book, what I've done is I've just I can't remember on my original, but I think I've just added a couple of strips where I needed to make sure that it was completely covered. And because these were on the Lady Vagabond, I've been able to pop those onto some black card, fussy cut around them, and I've just added that in the back. But basically, this decoration bit, this is up to you. This is your chance to put as much in or as little in as you want. This is totally and utterly your baby now. So that is the book together. Okay, right, that is our Lady Vagabond finished. Now, photo mats I always tend to do in a sort of a 6x4 configuration or 3x2. You can make them whatever size you like, but you've got these wonderful cut apart bits that I mentioned earlier, that these you can make into photo mats. So cut those out, put them onto some black card, put photo mats on the back. You have got these wonderful books of Belinda's. These make perfect photo mats as well. So cut those out, stick them onto some black card, put photo mats on the back, or just leave them as they are. And then, of course, you've got this book, which one of them I folded in half just to put some photo mats on. So you've still got quite a bit of paper with all sorts of images on that you can cut out and decorate and do your will with. But I would go back and just make sure that every bit of our inserts are covered before you start putting before you start sort of like putting your little tiny bits on, just to make sure that everything is covered. Right, there we go. There we go. That is it. So, what do you think? What do you reckon? Have you enjoyed it? Have you kept up? 10 weeks for a class is a very, very, very long class, I have to say. Let me just refresh this and see what's going on. Still a terrible picture. Excellent. No magnets on that one, Ulrika. It's just the fold over of the card with that little tiny gusset that keeps it together. You can put magnets on it by all means, but I'm not sure how well they'd stick between the acetate, if you see what I mean. There we go. Right, so before we go, I want to show you something. This week, as you know, I absolutely love my local radio station, Cannock Chase Radio. And two of my favourite presenters have been doing the morning show this week, Brian and Tony C. And they ask a question every day that they answer in their radio show. So if you go along to their listeners page, I'll put it in the group. You can answer the question and they will mention you. So if you want to mention on the radio, do. And even though it's my local station, I will say that you can listen all over the world. So you can listen on Alexa, you can listen on cannockchaseradio.co.uk, all of that stuff. Anyway, one of their questions this week, you're going to love this. One of their questions this week was, what will you never eat again, or what would you never eat? And my answer was oysters. And it reminded me about a holiday that we took pretty much exactly 10 years ago. Mark and Rachel and I went to Scotland in 2011. That was actually our last holiday, actually. It was our last holiday. And we spent a week up in Scotland. And we went to Loch Fyne, which if you're, a connoisseur of seafood, you will know that Loch Fyne is the place where you go for seafood. And they had oysters, and it occurred to me that it would be, one of those bucket list things that you should, try oysters. So Mark and I did. Rachel had scallops, which she loved, and Mark and I tried oysters. And quite frankly, It was the worst experience of my entire life. I cannot tell you how absolutely awful it was. When we left, Mark had to keep stopping the car because he had to keep stopping the car. That's all I'm saying. It was a horrible, horrible experience. So I was put in mind of that. And then Rachel messaged me about something. Oh, she was messaging me because they were going off to the Sea Life Centre in Birmingham, and it reminded me that we'd taken her to the Sea Life Centre in Loch Lomond on the first day of our holiday. And she's a sneaky little beggar at the best of times, a bit too smart for her own good. And to cut a long story short, she was trying to win money off in the shop, and she did it in a very sneaky way. But it's a long, complicated story. I won't bore you with it. But those two conversations got me thinking, and they got me thinking about why it is that we scrapbook and why we make mini books. And I went and got out the mini book that I made after our holiday. And it reminded me why it is that we scrapbook. And in this book, what I've done is I've written every day about what we did that day, all about the oysters, all about the Sea Life Centre, all of that stuff. And in there, I've got, so here, this is our trip to the Sea Life Centre. So look, Mark with short hair, no beard. Rachel with her money off coupon. And there's stuff here about, the Sea Life Centre. And there are some envelopes in which I put, like things from the weekend. So there's that card that she'd won the money off. And Rachel had remembered that I'd stolen the menu from the place where we went to dinner, and I've still got the receipt in there. And this is 10 years ago. And I just being able to look back and remember the holiday just reminded me why it was exactly why we scrapbook. However, this scrapbook is an absolute disaster because I used tape. Look at this. The tape marks are coming through. I know I should use my own handwriting, but I don't. So I typed it all out on the computer, and the tape is coming through here. It's been in my craft room this week, so it's dried up even more. It's fallen off there. The whole thing is just falling to pieces. You can see the tape discoloring through there because it wasn't acid free. So what I am saying to you guys is, if you want to keep your memories fresh, because these scrapbooks are so important. That was around, do you remember this? This was around our
I do, yes.
Our knife and fork at the oyster place.
Yeah.
Use the right adhesives, because this has broken my heart to see that this book that I made 10 years ago is just falling into disrepair because I didn't use the right adhesives. It is absolutely flipping heartbreaking. So there you go. Oh, we went to Stafford. It was brilliant. And then Iona, my favourite place in the world. Absolute favourite place in the world. Amazing holiday. Anyway, so there you go. Oh, that is a moth. Okay, so don't put moths on your books either. Shows how often I open this up. So yeah, so let that be a lesson to you. Use the right adhesives. Right. Next week. Next Wednesday, we are starting our Bloom Street 2, our Wonders book.
Oh, Jill says, can you retrieve it?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to just start it again. Well, I don't really want to do that. I can just glue it, but it's, we put so much work into these that it's just such a pity that we can't, that I've used the wrong glue. It just shows, when you start, well, not starting out, because I've been making books for a lot longer, but I was just shortcutting on the adhesives, and I just shouldn't. Anyway. So yeah, next week we're going to start our Bloom Street 2 book. So we'll get going with that. All the kits are out, so you should have them in time. Even the international orders should be with you imminently. Sold out, which is absolutely fantastic. So thank you everybody who bought a kit. So I will see you back in here next Wednesday. And it's so soul destroying, isn't it, Belinda? It really is. I was really upset the other day when I came back and had a look at my book.
Being as it was our last holiday.
Yeah, being as it was our last holiday. I think we really need to sort something out.
Yeah.
Sorry, Stacey, I'm so sorry. The kits have all sold out. I knew I had some more paper. I knew it and I found it. So, but they've all gone now. So there we go. So we'll start that next Wednesday, 7:30 in here. I'll put a cutting guide up, but I think what we'll do is we'll start with the covers next week and get that just going, and we'll take it from there. So thank you, everybody, for joining us over these last 10 weeks. Belinda, thank you so much for such incredible papers, and thank you for being here with us. It's been absolutely amazing and an absolute honour to have you here with us. And we'll see you all next week. Lots of love to everybody. And don't forget to put your pictures in the group. Thank you. I'm too hot. I can't even think straight.
No, mate.
Right. Okay. Right. Lots of love, everybody. Bye.
Oh.